Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday school lesson for Easter Sunday. Last week we heard how Jesus died on a cross of wood to take away the sins of everybody who trusts in him. After he had died, some rich followers of Jesus took his body and laid it in a cave called a tomb in a garden near Jerusalem. They rolled a big stone across the entrance to the tomb, and Pilate, the governor, told the Roman soldiers to keep it secure. But that was not the end. If Jesus had remained in the tomb, nobody would be saved. We shall now hear what happened next, and it was very wonderful. It was a Friday when Jesus died. Christians today often specially remember his death on a special Friday every year, which we call Good Friday. So if you hear that this Friday is Good Friday, that is what it means. On the Friday evening, after Jesus had been laid in the tomb, a lady called Mary Magdalene and some other women who were followers of Jesus prepared spices to take to anoint his body. They did not go to the tomb on Saturday because that was the Jewish holy day, like our Sunday, when they did not do work. But they were so anxious to go to the tomb that they set off early on Sunday morning before the sun rose. As they walked to the garden, they wondered who would roll away the stone for them, for they knew it was so big and heavy that they would not be able to move it. When they reached the tomb, to their surprise, the stone was already rolled away. They stooped and went inside the cave. Jesus' body was not there. The tomb was empty. The women did not know what to think. As they stood there wondering, 2 angels in shining white clothing stood by them. In fear, the women bowed to the ground. "Do not be afraid," said the angels. "You are looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He is risen. Do you not remember that he said to you that on the 3rd day he would rise again?" The women remembered that Jesus had said that very thing. They ran all the way back to Jerusalem to tell the disciples what they had seen. They said excitedly, "We have found Jesus' tomb empty, and we saw a vision of angels who said that he is alive, but we did not see him." The disciples did not believe the story of the excited women. They knew that Jesus had died. They had forgotten that he had told them that he would live again. It was very hard for the disciples to understand it at first. No one had ever raised himself from death. But when Peter and John heard the women's story, they had to go and see for themselves. The garden where Jesus had been buried was a distance away, but in their eagerness to see if he were truly alive again, they ran all the way. John ran faster than Peter, for he was younger. He reached the tomb first. Stooping down, he looked in and saw the linen cloths that had been wrapped around Jesus' body, but Jesus himself was gone. By that time, Peter had reached the tomb. He went past John, straight inside the cave. There were the linen cloths and the napkin that had been wrapped about Jesus' head. It lay in a place by itself. John followed Peter into the tomb. He saw the empty linen cloths and the napkin and believed that Jesus had indeed risen. Even now they could hardly realize that they would see him again. They went back home to Jerusalem. Mary could not stay away from the tomb. She stood there with tears rolling down her cheeks. Jesus had been kind to her, and now she did not know where he was. Then she turned round and saw someone standing in front of her. It was Jesus, but she did not recognize him through her tears. She thought that he was the gardener. Jesus said, "Why are you weeping? For whom are you looking?" Mary still did not know who it was. "Oh, sir," she said, "if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said, "Mary." When she heard that beloved voice speak her name, she looked straight at Jesus. It truly was her dear Lord. "Master," she cried. He told her to go to his disciples and tell them that he was going to ascend to his Father in heaven. How happy Mary was as she ran into Jerusalem, to the room where the disciples were weeping. "He is alive," she called. "He is alive. I have seen him myself. He came and spoke to me in the garden. He told me to come back here and tell you he is risen. And he told me to tell you he is going to ascend up into heaven." The hearts of the disciples had been so burdened with sorrow. At last they began to understand what Mary was saying, and to remember that Jesus had said that he would live again and that they would see him. They now realized that Jesus is stronger than death. Now at last they knew that Jesus is the Lord of life. Our second code word for today is stone. The first code word, which is different, is in the Open Sunday School for Sunday the 4th of April, which you'll find on our website. Please email the 2 code words with your answers to the activity sheets or the colouring picture that you will find on our website. Or you can text them to 07 465 400 393, or you can contact any of our Sunday School teachers. Please do send your code words, even if you cannot manage the colouring picture, as they will count towards your reward. Goodbye and a happy Easter.